I'd like to welcome you to the program here at Celebrations Around the World. We're going to be talking about Kwanzaa tonight. My name is Chris.
Hi there, and my name is Tanisha.
And welcome to tonight's program, Celebrations Around the World. Now I'm going to hand it over to our presenter, and that's all I've got. Take it over, Tanisha.
All right, thank you so much, Chris. So everybody, welcome this evening to our Celebrations Around the World. And tonight we will be talking about Kwanzaa. So this was part of our Celebrations Around the World series. You may have been able to join me yesterday when we talked about Christmas and Hanukkah. Again, like Chris said, those videos will be posted to our YouTube channel shortly. So if you missed them, go ahead and look out for them. And then right after this, we will be doing at 7 o'clock, we'll be talking about New Year's Eve. But right now, we are going to talk about the lovely holiday that is Kwanzaa. So a quick note before we get started with our presentation tonight, and I'm just going to go ahead and take myself off the camera so that you guys can get a full screen version of what we're talking about. So as we're talking about any cultural religious observance, there are definitely different ways that people believe that they should be celebrated. We really want to focus on the fun. We want to focus on the celebrations that are happening. So while we did our research and we did try to compile everything that we could, we know that for some people and for some traditions, things may look a little bit different. But the main thing is just to recognize and celebrate all of the lovely cultural and religious traditions that we have all over the world. So we are also going to have some trivia at the end, so definitely stay tuned towards the end because we're going to be doing a little bit of a test your knowledge to see if you guys got any good tidbits from our presentation this evening. So let's jump into the history of Kwanzaa. So college professor Maulana Karenga founded Kwanzaa in 1966, wanting to create a holiday for African Americans to celebrate themselves and their history. The holiday was first observed in California, but quickly spread to the rest of the United States. Karenga derived the name Kwanzaa from the Swahili phrase Matunda ya Kwanza, meaning first fruits of the harvest. So in Africa, the harvest season happens around November and December. And if you attended the Christmas class in Ghana, this also coincides with the cocoa harvesting season. Karenga borrowed several African traditions incorporating symbols, phrases, and rituals from Eastern, Southern, and Western Africa. Kwanzaa was originally meant to be an alternative to Christmas. However, the vast majority of African Americans who observe the holiday today observe Kwanzaa alongside Christmas. So, observing Kwanzaa. It's an American holiday. However, there are some people who celebrate Kwanzaa in the African diaspora, but it's primarily celebrated in the United States. So it is in the United States by African American families. Between 500,000 and 2 million people observe Kwanzaa. It is celebrated for 7 days, and it begins on December 26th and ends on January 1st. Each night of Kwanzaa is observed with the lighting of a candle, a karamu, or a feast, and reflection on one of the Nguzo Saba, or 7 principles. And we're going to go into those 7 principles a little bit later. So, Kwanzaa is a very symbolic holiday, and so there's a bunch of symbols involved in it. And so let's talk about what some of those symbols are. So with the first one is the Mshuma Saba, or the 7 candles. We see our 7 candles there. The number 2 is the Kinara, or the candle holder. Number 3 is the Kikombe cha Umoja, the unity cup. Number 4, Muhindi, or the corn. Number 5, Mkeka, or you may see it in a little bit on the bottom here, the mat. Number 6, Zawadi, the gifts. So we see a little gift there. And number 7, Mazao, or the crops. So What do all of these symbols mean? How are they significant in the celebration of Kwanzaa? So the 7 candles represent the Nguzo Saba, or the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. The Kinara represents continental Africa, the roots of most African Americans. The Unity Cup represents the foundational principle of umoja, or unity. The Muhindi represents children and the future. The mat represents history and tradition, the foundation of what we are built. The Zawadi, or gifts, represent the labor and love of parents and the commitments promised and kept by the children. Mazao, or the crops, represents the African harvest celebrations and the rewards of productive and collective labor. So let's talk a little bit about the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. And as I mentioned before, every night when a candle is lit, families are meant to reflect on one of the 7 principles. So the first one is umoja, or unity. The second one is kujichagulia, self-determination. Third is ujima, collective work and responsibility. Fourth is ujama, cooperative economics. The 5th is nia, or purpose. 6th, kumba, creativity. And the 7th is imani, or faith. So before we get to our trivia section tonight, so we get to test some knowledge, I also wanted to highlight some of the resources that we have available for you to learn more about Kwanzaa or any other celebration that we have had this month or these past few days. And we have had a few others so far. So one I would like to highlight is World Book Encyclopedia that is available on our learning and research page of our website. And so World Book is a free encyclopedia for your library card. It has a bunch of wonderful information, including more info on Kwanzaa. And of course, I have to highlight our ebook resources. So Libby by Overdrive and Hoopla have a ton. If you just do a quick search on Kwanzaa, you're going to find a ton of books on the celebration of Kwanzaa. And I also wanted to highlight Canopy Kids because they have a very awesome, really wonderful, kid-friendly mini documentary on the celebration of Kwanzaa. When I say a mini documentary, it's like 8 to 10 minutes. So it's very kid-friendly and a great way to introduce them to the lovely celebration of Kwanzaa. So let's go ahead and do some trivia. See if you guys test your knowledge, see what you guys have learned. So let me launch the first question. What is the name of the candle holder used for Kwanzaa? So I'll give you guys a few seconds to answer. And so we did. Good job, everybody. So you are absolutely correct. The name of the candle holder used in Kwanzaa is indeed the Kinara. So let's go on to the next question. All right. How many days is Kwanzaa celebrated? Let's see how you guys do with this one. You guys, I feel like I should put on the Jeopardy music while we're doing this. Good job, everybody. Once again, everybody got it correct. You guys are all correct. It is 7 days. 7 days that Kwanzaa is celebrated. Let's go on to our next poll. This one's a little bit harder. What year was Kwanzaa first celebrated? All right, I am going to go ahead and close the poll. Let's see how we did with this one. Okay, so half of you guys did get this one correct. So the correct answer was 1966. So let's go a little bit further back in our presentation here so we can see. So remember, college professor Maulana Karenga founded Kwanzaa in 1966, and that was the first year that it was celebrated. So yes, Kwanzaa was first observed in the United States in 1966. So let's go ahead and go on, and I'm going to put myself back on camera here real quick. All right, Chris, let me know if there are any questions. And while we are waiting for any questions to go in, of course, I put up our contact information. The Celebrations Around the World series has been very fun to put together, very informative. I learned a lot, even from researching for Kwanzaa. It's something that I had never celebrated before, and just asking friends and family, I didn't know anybody who had. So it was really interesting to go in and learn about the background and the lovely traditions that surround Kwanzaa. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was really great. Thank you for doing the research and sharing it with us, Tanisha. So we do have a question about the candles. Someone is asking if the candles have to be specific colors. Is that something that you found out, or?
Yes. So the thing about putting together 15-minute presentations is unfortunately you're not able to squeeze everything that you learn into a presentation. So the candles, the colors that are used in Kwanzaa actually do mean something. So I'm going to go back to the picture of the candles. I don't know if you've noticed, but in the background, there are 3 colors. There are green, there are red, and there are black. And those 3 colors are also symbolize the colors of Pan-Africanism. So you see them in a lot of representations of Africa. So those colors definitely do have meaning, and they are used as the colors of Pan-Africanism, which is a philosophy that the founder, Maulana Karenga, was heavily involved in, and which led to him founding the holiday of Kwanzaa, because he wanted something for African Americans to be able to observe their history and their traditions. So the colors do mean something. Oops.
All right. Someone is asking about food. Are there any particularly types of food that are prepared or eaten during Kwanzaa?
So the most important one would be corn, because corn or maize is very important, as corn in the tradition of Kwanzaa represents children in the future. So you will see corn there. As far as particular foods, when I was doing my research, when it says the crops, so there is a lot of like fresh fruits and vegetables, but there weren't necessarily any particular foods involved. There may be some African dishes. The founder of Kwanzaa borrowed heavily from several African traditions that pan the entire continent. So it's not like, food from Nigeria or food from South Africa or food from, and of course, with a lot of African countries, there are several different tribes. So for instance, when I talked about Ghana yesterday, in the celebrations around the world of Christmas, I made mention of the fact that Ghana has 33 recognized languages, official languages, excuse me. They have over 30 official languages, but there are over 80 languages that are recognized. So that is a lot of culture and a lot of tradition on one continent.
Right. Well, that's good to know. Yeah, that's something to know with these holidays that we learn about. One other question, are gifts exchanged during Kwanzaa?
Yes, they are. So let's go back to.
Okay, yeah, you probably already mentioned that.
Yep, so the gifts represent the labor and the love of the parents and the commitments promised and kept. So yes, there is definitely an exchanging of gifts. Can't have a holiday without some gifts.
That's true, especially for the little ones.
Especially for the little ones, yes, absolutely. That's the fun part, is a lot of the holidays that I talked about involved gift giving, and who doesn't like a good gift? All right, Chris, is that everything?
That's all of our questions. That was awesome. That's it. We're all done. Thanks, Tanisha, and thanks for everyone for joining us.
Bye, everybody. Have a good evening. Hopefully we'll see you here in 10 minutes.